Hello students, I am Anupul Panchi, lecturer chemistry, Government Boys Senior Secondary School, Zia District, Firozpur. As you know, we are studying P-block elements. In previous videos, you have learned about their general introduction, their occurrence, physical properties, etc. In today's lecture, you are going to study about the chemical properties of group 16 elements. Group 16 elements, also called chalcogens. These comprise oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, and polonium. You also know that polonium is radioactive, being radioactive. Its study is very limited. And in chemical properties, let us first study their oxidation states. Oxidation state of an element means the charge which it gets when it combines with some other element to form a compound. And here in this family, you know that their electronic configurations are NS2 and P4. Like oxygen, atomic number 8, it is having 2s2, 2p4, sulfur is having 3s2, 3p4. Similarly, it is in fourth period, so 4, 5th, 6th, and 7s2, 7p4. You know that. But one thing in which oxygen is different from the others, that in second orbit you have s subshell and p subshell. D subshell is not there. But in other elements, in atoms of other elements like sulfur, 3s2, 3p4, but 3d subshell is also there. Of course, it is not having any electron. Similarly, here also, in all other cases. So, except oxygen, all other elements, atoms of all other elements have vacant d orbitals, and it is going to affect their oxidation states. For example, if we write it like this, NS2, NP4, ND0. There are 2 electrons in one orbital of s subshell and 4 electrons in 3 orbitals of p subshell. And d subshell is vacant. There are 5. Oxygen does not have this d subshell. So, if we see this configuration up to this, we see there are 2 electrons lesser than octet. So all these elements have a tendency to show -2 oxidation state. These gain 2 electrons, get stable, get fully filled configuration. So all these elements have -2 except polonium. Polonium does not show -2. Why? We know on moving down a group, metallic character goes on increasing. Oxygen and sulfur, due to that reason, are typical non-metals. Selenium and tellurium are metalloids, and polonium has metallic character. That is why polonium, of course, shows 2 state, but +2. It does not show -2 state. Then oxygen also show -1 and -1 state in its peroxide. You know H2O2, Na2O2, these compounds are peroxide. Peroxide means when an oxide shares its 2 negative charge with another oxygen atom, then this O2 negative ion is called peroxo or peroxide ion. So oxygen form peroxides. That is why oxygen also show -1 state in its compounds. Then one more thing. One element in this world is more electronegative than even oxygen, and you know that is fluorine. So fluorine being more electronegative than oxygen, when oxygen combines with fluorine, it cannot show negative state. It will show +1 or +2 state. For example, a compound OF2. In this compound, F will be -1, O is +2. Similarly, O2F2, very unstable compound it is, but in it oxygen show +1 state. So oxygen show these 4 states, -2, -1, +1 and +2 also. Now let us take the case of sulfur. Sulfur of course will show -2, but when it forms covalent compounds it shows +2. Apart from +2, it also shows +4 and +6 states. Why? Because in excited state, this electron jumps from this orbital to this in higher subshell. So now total unpaired electron will become 4. When these 4 electrons are shared, the state will become +4. Similarly, in second excited state, when this electron jumps here by gaining energy, it will show +6. Compounds like SF4, sulfur is +4, SF6, sulfur is +6, SO2, sulfur +4, SO3, sulfur +6. Similarly, same is the case with selenium and tellurium also. Selenium and tellurium also show +4 and +6 state along with +2 due to same reason, due to presence of vacant d orbitals which are involved in excited state. Now polonium, as I told earlier, polonium cannot show -2 because polonium is metal, it shows +2 of course and +4 also. It can show +6, but up till now no compound having +6 state of polonium is known. That is why we leave it. Okay, so this was about the oxidation states of chalcogens, that is elements of group 16 of P block. So this was the first chemical property of these elements. Now let us take second chemical property, which is their reactivity towards hydrogen. Second chemical property is reactivity towards hydrogen. All these elements combine with hydrogen. Note these, almost every element combines with hydrogen. That is why hydrogen is sometimes called a characterless element. But you also remember that there are 3 groups in modern periodic table in D block, the elements of which do not combine with hydrogen, and that is called hydride gap. Just go to your homes and find out which these elements, which these 3 groups are. This is your homework. Okay, now let us come back to the topic, reactivity towards hydrogen. All these elements combine with hydrogen to form hydrides having formula H2E. E means one of these, 2H, H2E. Because all these elements have 2 unpaired electrons, NH2, NP4. This is paired. NP4 has 1 pair and 2 unpaired. So these 2 unpaired are bonded, shared with H atoms. So compound formed with H2E, which is called hydride, like H2O, H2S, H2SC, H2PE and H2PO of course, but PO is radioactive, so H2PO is also there. And about these hydrides, we have some 6 or 7 important concepts which are often asked in exams, and these are very scrolling. For example, first question becomes that all these hydrides have V-shaped or bent structure. What is the reason for that? Very simple. The central atom has 2 pairs, 2 unpaired. These unpaired are combining with hydrogen, and still there are 2 lone pairs of electrons on central atom. So due to these 2 lone pairs, these bond pairs are pushed away. So this angle is less than 180. So hydrides are not linear. Hydrides are V-shaped or bent. So why H2S is bent? Why H2O is bent? Why H2SC is bent? In all these questions, answer is always same due to presence of lone pairs. Lone pair repulsions are more than lone pair bond pair repulsions. Bond pairs are pushed, bond pairs come closer. That's why these have V or bent structure. Then, second question arises that this bond angle is approximately 104 point something degree in water. And this bond angle goes on decreasing on moving down the group. For example, if we roughly take the bond angle HOH, HEH, you can say HEH bond angle in water is 104. In H2S it is about 94 degrees, then 91, 90. It goes on decreasing. Why? Reason is H atoms are common in all the hydrides. What is changing? Central atom. And central atom is getting bigger and bigger in size. So atomic size of central atom increases, due to which these lone pairs spread over larger area and bond pairs come close to each other. Due to that reason, bond angle of hydrides goes on decreasing down the group. Now, second thing about bond angles. Now, third thing, let us discuss their melting points. About fourth also, let us discuss these two together because both have same basic concept, melting points and boiling points. You know, melting points, boiling points and physical state of a substance is due to intermolecular forces. Chemical bond is a different thing. Chemical bond forms a molecule. Like this is a chemical bond, this is a chemical bond. But attraction between this molecule and such like molecules, that attraction is called intermolecular force of attraction. These attractions are of 6 types. You have learned in your 11th class syllabus that dipole-dipole attractions, London forces, dipole-induced dipole, which are commonly called van der Waals forces of attraction. Then comes H bondings. Generally, neutral molecules, non-polar molecules have London forces. Polar molecules have dipole-dipole or ion-dipole in case of ions. But when H atom is directly bonded to a highly electronegative atom, then H bondings come into play. You must also remember that strongest ion forces are H bondings and weakest are London forces. Now, let us compare their melting point and boiling point. If we see melting point of H2S. Melting point of H2S is 188 Kelvin. And melting point of H2SC is 208 Kelvin and 222 Kelvin. What do you see? I have knowingly kept it blank. If you compare these three, you see that on moving down the group, melting point goes on increasing. It is just increasing. Why? Because on moving down the group, the molecular sizes are increasing due to increase in size of central atom. When molecular size is increasing, the strength of van der Waals forces of attraction will go on increasing. You know, strength of van der Waals force directly depend upon the size of molecule. So, because molecular sizes are increasing, these are increasing. But what we see here, if we see melting point, or you can say freezing point of water, that is 273 Kelvin. As per our concept, it should be lesser than 188. but you see it is even more than this. It should be the lowest, but it is the highest. Why it is so? Similarly, about boiling point also. If we compare their boiling points, boiling point of H2S is 213 Kelvin, 232 Kelvin, 269 Kelvin. Again, it should be lesser than 213, but it is 373 Kelvin boiling point of water. So what we want to come at, that both melting point and boiling point of water are exceptionally higher. Why? Because all these have intermolecular van der Waals forces of attraction, but water will be having H bondings. H bonding means when H atom is bonded to highly electronegative atom, which are only three, following oxygen and nitrogen. Then what happens? Some kind of attractive forces come into play, which are stronger than all IM forces, and these forces are called H bondings. So due to H bondings, water is showing this exceptional behavior. So this is the third and fourth concept about this, about these hydrides. Now next, next is about their bond enthalpies. Bond enthalpy means the enthalpy change taking place when a bond is formed. You can also call it bond dissociation enthalpy, when we dissociate, when we break a bond. So this bond enthalpy, HEH, this HE bond enthalpy of this bond goes on decreasing down the road. It is very simple. Why decreasing? Because you know that bond enthalpy depends upon the size of atoms. When the sizes of atoms, sizes of combining atoms are comparable, the bond is stronger. When sizes are more different, there is more difference in size, then bond becomes weaker. So on moving down the group, H remains common, but size of E atom is increasing. So bond enthalpy is going to decrease. And due to this decrease in bond enthalpy, it affects their stability. You can make next point about their thermal stability. So what is the trend of thermal stability? Thermal stability of these hydrides will go on decreasing down the group because bond enthalpy is decreasing. Bond enthalpy is decreasing because atomic size is increasing. The difference in sizes of atoms is increasing. That is why water is very stable. We boil water, H2O. We boil H2O, it becomes a steam. But even then it remains H2O. In steam also molecules are HOH. HO bond is not broken. HO bond is not dissociated. So water is thermally stable very much. Now, next thing is about their reducing character and acidic nature. What is a reducing agent? According to classical concept, a reducing agent is that which gives H. So all these hydrides, when their bond is dissociated, they will lose H. They will supply H themselves. They will get oxidized, but these have the tendency to reduce others. And their reducing character depends upon the ease of losing H. Means the strength of this bond means bond enthalpy. Because bond enthalpy is decreasing down the group, that is why ease of losing H increases, and that is why reducing character also goes on increasing. And related to this, last is their acidic character. A substance which gives H plus is acidic in nature. So all these are acidic because when their bond will be dissociated, they will lose H plus, they will be acidic, and their acidic character again, like reducing character, will go on increasing down the group. So these are the 6 or 7 concepts important, which are very important, which we have just studied. Now, from these two properties, oxidation state and reactivity towards hydrogen, you can solve these some questions yourself. Like a question is, why H2O is liquid but H2S is gas at room temperature? Can you answer? It will be having H bonds, you know. Then from H2O and H2S, which is more acidic and why? Right now we have studied their bonding properties. You can compare the ease of losing H and you can answer. Then third is, why oxygen does not exhibit +4 and +6 oxidation states like other chalcogens, you know, D block. Then one more question you can solve from this. Why MP and BP of H2O are exceptionally higher? Again, you know the reason will be H bonding. Similarly, so many questions, you can compare themselves and you can solve those conceptual questions if your concepts are clear. For example, if you have been asked that why bond angle of HEH bond in hydrides of chalcogens decrease down the group, you can answer. So all these questions you can solve if you have listened to today's lecture attentively. So I hope you will solve it. Thank you. Goodbye.